Our planet has a lot of history to it, and is full of surprises. Some can be awe-inspiring and change the way we look at ourselves in a good way, whereas others expose the murky past that has otherwise been forgotten. To explore these further, in this video, we'll be showing you 5 of the world's darkest secrets that we dare you to see. Go on, if you think you're brave enough. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5. Sedlec Ossuary. It's well known that religious structures around the world took vast amounts of resources and sacrifice to construct, often taking decades to complete and the commitment of thousands of workers. The Sedlec Ossuary in the Czech Republic took this to a whole new level over the time it was built though, with results that attract more than 200,000 people a year to witness its macabre design. That's because this place, also known as the Bone Church, is decorated with the remains of up to 70,000 people who died during the plague of 1318 and the Hussite Wars of the 15th century. The bodies were all dismembered, had their flesh removed, and were arranged into the elaborate displays. The site first became a place of significance in 1278, when the abbot of the local monastery returned from the Holy Land with some earth that he had scattered over the Sedlec cemetery. As a result, it became a popular resting place, one that had to be significantly enlarged following the huge number of deaths because of the plague and war. The original church was built in the middle of this cemetery in the 1400s, and in the following century, a half-blind monk was given the task of exhuming all of the bodies and stacking their bones in the chapel. The work was finally complete in 1870, when a woodcarver, František Rint, was commissioned to arrange all of the bones into order. He bleached all the bones so they were all the same color, and then got to work. Today, you can visit the church and see a giant chandelier made from bones from every part of the human body that's said to represent a 7-headed beast from the Book of Revelations, with 7 arms made from human vertebrae and candle-mounted skulls. There's also skull bunting between structural beams, 4 Baroque candelabras, 6 pyramids and candle holders, and countless other objects that have been ingeniously crafted with the bones that had been recovered. This place is a chilling memory of human loss and perseverance, and has an eerie way of making you reflect on the fragility of life. It's not the only place you can see such a thing either, with the Brno Ossuary and Paris catacombs having more confirmed bodies in them. Still, the one at Sedlec is more ornate than the others, and well worth a visit if dark and macabre is your sort of thing. Number 4. Herxheim Cannibal Village. Herxheim is an archaeological site in the southwest of Germany, and a place where people are starting to realize that something truly horrific happened. The discovery began in 2009 when a dig at a Stone Age village in the area unearthed what appeared to be a grave. As they excavated the area more, it became clear that this was, in fact, a mass grave with evidence of at least 500 different bodies and as many as 1,000. The bones were from everyone, men, women, and children, but the thing that makes this mass grave different from others was that tool marks were found on all of the bones. The larger ones were snapped and the skulls were broken. This would suggest that someone took a lot of time and effort to remove all of the flesh, bone marrow, and brain material after the people died. And the mystery remains, what was done with all this material? Was it eaten by villagers and evidence of a cannibalistic culture? Or was it simply buried as a part of the burial ritual? The village around the grave has been researched, and it was home to a Stone Age settlement no different to any other, but one that saw its residents mysteriously disappear at about 4950 BC. The village was completely abandoned, and until the discovery of the grave, no one knew what had happened to those that lived there. Perhaps more mysterious were the results of the bone tests that were carried out after their discovery. Carbon-14 analysis showed that the bones were of the last inhabitants of the village, but they weren't natives to the region. They had come from across Europe as far as 250 miles away, and none of them had died during battle as a result of illness, and many were still young. The skulls are of a particular significance. They were smashed, but in a controlled way. The lower third was removed, and this left a skull cap that could have been used as a cup of sorts, and they were also carved with symbols. These icons have never been seen anywhere else before though, so all anyone can guess is that they're of some religious significance. No one's entirely sure why so many people chose to travel such far distances to live in the village at that time. Perhaps they even volunteered to be slaughtered here. One thing is certain though, something horrific happened here, and we may never know how dark the secrets of Herxheim truly are. Number 3. Takaka no Numa Amusement Park, Japan. Amusement parks are popular visitor attractions all over the world. They offer insane rides, copious amounts of food, a wealth of entertainment, and are a great way to disconnect from the real world during your visit. There's one in Japan though that holds a dark secret. So bad are the events that happened here, the park was shut down, is now overgrown, and you won't see it on any maps. In fact, there are very few photos or evidence of its existence at all. It was known as Takaka no Numa Greenland and was built in 1973 to cash in on the increasing popularity of amusement parks. At only 150 miles north of Tokyo, it was perfectly positioned to serve the capital city for those looking to escape for a day or two. Having opened to great fanfare, the entire park was closed in less than 2 years. Reasons for this shutdown are scarce, with the official account claiming it was for repairs. This seems unlikely for such a brand new park though, and there were also stories of a number of deaths on the attractions that had led to its sudden closure. Even more mysterious was the way that the park did eventually reopen, but in 1986. Those were some serious repairs, or at least the amount of time it would take for people to forget the previous attempt at running the park, and this time it remained open for 13 years before closing down for good in 1999. Again, no reasons were given for its second sudden closure, but rumors run rife about the truth behind it. The entire park was supposedly demolished in 2006 to leave clear land, but a British tourist found a completely intact park in those parts of the mountains in 2007. Complete with the same rides that had previously been pictured as going rusty at Takaka no Numa. He took a number of pictures, but apparently when he uploaded them to his computer, the only one that appeared was of the park entrance on a foggy night with the figure of a young girl watching on. Something strange quite obviously happened at this park. It's one of a number of abandoned amusement parks across Japan, but it's the only one steeped in so much speculation of visitor deaths and spooky goings-on. Go on, we dare you to go and find this place if you can. Who knows, you might make the find of the century. Number 2. Chuk Lagoon. The Second World War saw a massive loss of human life on all sides that were involved. The passage to time has covered up most of these tragic events, with our only real memories coming from first-hand accounts, photographs, and memorials. But there's one place that'll serve as a permanent reminder of the pain of war. The Chuk Lagoon in the Central Pacific. It's about 1,100 miles to the northeast of New Guinea, and is a part of the Federated States of Micronesia. This sheltered body of water is surrounded by a protective reef, and its natural harbor made it an ideal location for the Japanese Navy to position their fleet during the war. It was their main base in the region, and was heavily fortified. At anchor in the lagoon were their battleships, aircraft carriers, destroyers, cargo ships, gunboats, minesweepers, and many, many more, something the US Air Force saw as a prime target. So, in 1944, they attacked. The Japanese had received some forewarning of the imminent threat, so moved some of the biggest vessels out of the way. On the morning of February 17th of that year, a 3-day campaign began that was responsible for sinking 12 warships and 32 merchant ships, as well as destroying 275 aircraft. The destruction caused over those few days led to Chuk Lagoon being known as the biggest graveyard of ships in the world. Nowadays, the remains of the ships and those aboard them still lie underneath the water. It's the site of a yearly memorial service by the Japanese, but it's also one of the most popular sites in the world for wreck diving. Here, you can dive to the depths and explore the rusting ships, tanks, bullets, gas masks, and endless other weaponry, as well as the decomposed remains of all the sailors that lost their lives in the attack. It's a somber memory of the futile losses of war, and a reminder of why it's important nothing like this is ever allowed to happen again. Number 1. Island of Dolls. Isla de las Muñecas, also known as the Island of the Dolls, is a small island in Mexico that's within the canals of Xochimilco. It's a place with a lot of intrigue and mystery, and is one of the creepiest places on Earth. The story goes that an artist, Julian Santana Barrera, went to live on the island after a personal tragedy, but on his first day there, he witnessed a young girl drowning in a river. Tormented by this sight, and hearing her screams as he went to sleep, Barrera retreated into the island to live a solitary life for the next 50 years. He blamed himself for not being able to save the girl, and soon afterward found a doll floating nearby. He became convinced that the doll was possessed by the girl's spirit, and in an attempt to appease her, he began to hang dolls from the trees in the woods. His torment finally ended in 2002 when his nephew found him dead and floating in the water where he had found the girl all those years ago. Now, the island has become somewhat of a tourist attraction, with visitors leaving their own offerings in memory. There are hundreds of them in the trees. Some have their eyes gorged out, others are missing body parts. It's one of the creepiest places you could ever go. There are numerous doll shrines, and as they decay even further, it just adds to the ambience. Whether the man actually did witness the death of the young girl, or it was a fabricated story as a result of his long time spent on the island, no one will ever know. But visitors are convinced that the dolls speak to them and often report very strange occurrences, which would suggest the true secrets of this place are yet to be revealed. We dare you to visit this island if you're brave enough. Just be ready for a life-changing experience when you get there. Super exciting news, everybody! The time has finally come. Head over to Come Along and enjoy the positivity from cool life hacks and crazy experiments to real-life shocking facts and puzzles and animated riddles to keep your brain active and entertained. Click the circle button on the screen right now to subscribe to this awesome channel that's soon to explode across YouTube. Come on, press that subscribe button and watch the first video, or click the link in the description. We promise you'll love it.